I'm always wondering what I can do to make the opening slide on this a bit different when I am uh, uploading these TikTok lives to YouTube, and we'll see if that worked. We will see if that worked. Um, Hello, hello. I may look shiny. I just looked for the first time. I may look shiny. Bad times behind me. But this is a good shiny. This is a good shiny I will share with you because that is the shiny of somebody who actually just came back from a short but good walk. I haven't had a walk in a couple of days. So that isn't the sweat from a fever. It's the sweat from being outside when it's warm out. So I take that as a good what do you call it? A good sweat, a good shine. Thank you, German maid, that I sound much better. I sound different to myself, but Miss Nisi, I'm glad I caught you too, and C. Fitzhenry, all my folks. I'm feeling better than I did yesterday. And here's what I love is I will share with you guys, I am definitely just taking pages out of my own coaching book and coaching myself as if I were my own client. I am going to bed with the mantra of I'm going to feel better tomorrow when I wake up. I am encouraging myself for what I have done, and I'm not beating myself up for what I'm not doing. I am being cool with the fact that I'm working at a pace that works for me. And it is different. It is a challenge. Like I my husband and I, like the fact that I took a shower this morning was major. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, so I thought I had a cold. It's actually COVID. I tested and it's COVID. That doesn't really change much for me, except now it's got a brand name. And I did try to get on the Paxlovid, and my doctor didn't recommend it, so I'm just using over the counter stuff. But I often will coach myself, but my clients to say, when you feel better, you do better. But if you're not feeling so good, you're maybe not doing as well. So, hey, Erin, nice to see you. So I legit have not been feeling well because I am physically sick and kind of run down. I don't have energy. My focus is like ridiculous. It's funny. Even my eye is focusing, probably because I've been looking at my phone so much to try to distract myself from feeling crappy. But I am reminding myself every step of the way, and I hope you do too when you're decluttering. Congratulate yourself on what you have done, and don't beat yourself up about what you haven't done. Because what you're doing is you're giving yourself a little boost, a little fill in your tank. Sure, I'm doing a little bit, like this room, my office is kind of turned into the sick room. So yeah, I could angle it and show you like the crap on the floor and stuff like that. It's all in angles, people. But I am not worrying about it because I know when I feel a little bit better, I'll do a little bit better. And then I'll feel a little bit better than that, and I'll do a little bit better. And it's not about kind of optimal, blah, blah, blah. It's like meeting yourself where you're at. And again, I'm going to talk about this in a decluttering thing. Matching your energy and your time to what you're going to get done and managing your expectations and being cool with what you are doing is really a good way to just set up yourself for feeling good when you're feeling crappy. Now, speaking of feeling good when you're feeling crappy, I'm going to sip some tea here. Excuse me. There's something weird there. Mother of three pearls. Yes, I was traveling, and good afternoon to you too, and as well as everybody. So in case we haven't met yet, my name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. And big surprise, it's called Destination Decluttered. And if you notice this little kind of thing behind me that looks like a map point, well, it's supposed to anyway. I made it out of like construction paper and a laminator. And a little car with the little chunks of road, the little, dotted line to your destination. So I call it Destination Decluttered because I love to travel, but even more so, I will say this, even when I'm not traveling, I love to stay at home because I like to think of things in the framework of driving in a road trip. So yes, I was traveling. I had a wonderful experience. I will share with you this hotel. If you're ever in Indianapolis, I just wrote them a glowing message. The Bottle Works Hotel in Indianapolis, Indiana. I think it's one of my favorite hotels I've ever stayed at. We've stayed there twice now. It is a restored Coca-Cola bottling factory. So it's got these neat kind of industrial yet Art Deco touches. They really embraced a lot of the original architecture, and the tile work is amazing. Across the street is this thing called the Garage, which is like, that was my Boston accent, totally saying garage. It's like the Garage, and what they've made it into is kind of like a food court and a place where you can get drinks. So freaking cool. So if you're ever in, they're not paying me to do this, but I had such a good time. And there was a bit of a mix-up with with our reservation, and they more than corrected for it. So I just want to share that with you. So I was traveling there, and then, yeah, if it was in a hotel, if it was in a restaurant, if it was in, we went to a couple of events, if it was in an airport, somewhere along the lines, I picked up COVID, as did my husband. We are laying low this week because then, again, travel, destination. We are leaving for Los Angeles on Sunday. So I'm going to just kind of lay low this week. But thank you for asking. We had a great time. Interesting. Rena, I love the inadvertent marketing thing. Saw a truck yesterday with the word clutter printed huge on it. Now, I think that's wicked funny. And then it said, made me think of Destination Decluttered. Well, I love that made you think of me. It's funny, in the early years, the name of the hotel, the Bottle Works, it's all one word, Bottle Works, because it was a Coca-Cola bottling plant. And they actually have built up that area, which used to be an industrial district, and they're calling it like the Bottle Works District. So all you need to do is Google that. The hotel itself is in a historic building, and I used to write books about going to historic places and vintage places to stay and to eat and to shop and to have experiences. So that would have been my go-to anyway, but this place just did it up real nice. And I love it. I love it when people are traveling. And then when you come home. Now, I literally came home and pretty much hit the sack, as my mother, hit the sack, went to bed, and have barely gotten up. But it's nice to just come back to a decluttered house. But clutter. I am really here not to tell you about my madcap wild monkeys-like adventures and stuff like that, because I want to inspire you to create the life you want. But that can be very kind of vague and, life coachy to me. What I love to do is help you recognize your power in that you can do something, because you practice this by transforming your home one section at a time, one room at a time, into a decluttered place that you just love to be. I love it. K-pop Drama Love says, I'm pushing through and clearing out decades of an old storage unit. Been selling, throwing, and giving away. Yeah, notice the away. I'm giving it away. I'm throwing it away. It's here and it's away from me. The stuff that I don't want, I'm tossing it back into the void, back into the universe. That's the really cool thing, I have to say, that I love about decluttering life coaching. I don't know if I will ever get tired of this, because it's always going back and finding something new to talk about. And I love this. Mother of Three Pearls says, I used some of your tips before I left when you went to Raleigh, and I was excited to come home and continue. Now, here's the fun thing, is that people who have been my clients know this, that sometimes they coach with me, not enough, but they coach with me to realize that decluttering isn't something to dread. It's actually something you can look forward to. Because to me, what you're basically doing, if you think about it, and I think about it a lot, is you are going on a treasure hunt, and you are looking for things in your own home and in your own life that light you up. You may be going on a bit of an archaeological dig, and you may find things that you're like, oh, look, it's a bottle. Oh, look, it's this. And other times you'll hit gold. And the wonderful thing is you don't save all the stuff, but what you do is you save the good stuff. you learn what stuff really means, what things are important to you right now that may have been important to you in the past, but not so much now. But also not just here in the present, but in the future, in the present plus, from July 31st, 2024 on. Looking ahead, looking forward to what do I want my home to look like. That's always a good place to start. It's pretty superficial, pretty, what do I call it? In the 3 layers of clutter, you've got your surface clutter, you've got your stored clutter, you've got your sentimental clutter. So the easiest one is, how does it look? You've met people who are superficial and they look good on the surface, but maybe once you get to know them and you see what's going on underneath, maybe not so much. So looking good is a good place to start. There's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting your house to look good. It's a good place to start. However, I like to go a layer deeper, because to me, the layer deeper, actually, when you think of the surface clutter, the next layer down is your stored clutter. I love this. Gee Schnauzer, it wasn't me. IKEA got the order wrong. Now notice this. Notice this, my dear. Beating yourself up, and this is a bit of a thing, is double checking yourself to be awake. Hey, wait a minute. I've got a mismatched connection. I've kind of veered off because I saw this comment and I feel it's important. This happened to me on our trip, and I want to talk about misalignment. Notice how they talk about, like in life coaching and in spirituality and all that, kind of being in alignment. When you are in alignment, think about it in your car. When your car is in alignment, you're just going straight down the path. It's easy. When things are not in alignment, when they're out of alignment, you need to course correct. You need to there's friction, there's frustration because things are rubbing up against each other. There's disappointment because, I thought we were doing this. No, we're doing this. Oh, there's that gap. Double check yourself. Double check yourself. Gee Schnauzer, you know what? Yeah, you spent a week beating yourself up when you could have said, hey, wait a minute. Instead of immediately thinking you're wrong, just double check to say, is this what I ordered? And then you can say, oh no, this isn't what I ordered. They got it wrong. That happened to me in our hotel this week. They did a wonderful job in correcting it. And coming from previous kind of customer service, customer facing and management backgrounds, I always look more for not how people treat things when they're going well, but how they solve problems. And I double checked it to say, wait, this isn't the room I was expecting in my hotel. But let me check. I could be wrong. Let me reflect. And I pulled up my thing and I said, okay, that's the kind of room. And then I went to the website and I said, no, it's supposed to look like this. So there was a miscommunication. There was a misconnection, but we made it right. The sooner you do that, the sooner you say, hey, this is what I ordered. Is this what I ordered? No, where's the disconnect? Where's the disconnect? Where's the friction? You might save yourself a week of being frustrated with yourself. And if anything, you guys, I am here in your life to be the voice of don't beat yourself up. Don't knock yourself down. Don't beat yourself up and don't knock yourself down. Treat yourself with love, kindness, gentleness. Aw, hon. Aw. Hubby had 3 back surgeries in 2 months. I hope he's doing well. I fell off the decluttering wagon. We all do it. Working to get back on the road and forgiving myself the detour. Yeah, and here's the deal. CC, is it's not like you fell off because you fell off. Shit's going to happen. Life happens. Life is going to happen. You weren't able to go on a green route because your husband was having surgeries. There's a lot of stuff that gets involved with those types of things. I am totally kind of derailed this week because I am sick. I have a finite amount of energy. I will store up my energy and then I'll come up here and then I'll probably go and chill and I'll sleep on this arrow bed and I'll be flipping on. I will be actively having, TikTok, scrolling. But forgive yourself your trespasses. Forgive yourself for being human. And don't expect yourself to be anything but. If I was listening to one of those like bro marketers or those suck it up buttercup kind of life coaches, I'd be feeling shitty physically and shitty mentally because I wasn't up like, oh, you just gotta do it. Fuck that. You tell me that, and this is just my nature, I will double down and say, oh yeah, no. But when I kind of put the way things are going in my life into context, I'm not making excuses. I'm looking for context. I'm understanding that I am not in a vacuum, but that I am a human who lives in a body that isn't feeling good. When I don't feel good, I'm not going to give you my best results. The best way to get the best results for me is when I'm feeling better, I'm going to do better. Okay? So Cece, I hope you guys are doing well. Send them my love. I'm sending my love to you guys over the states. I'm looking at my Arizona right now, okay? And baby steps. Baby steps. I took baby steps today. I took a shower. And I literally got out of the house today. Now, it's really humid outside, so like yesterday when I went outside, I was like, is this a hot flash? Am I having a fever? Or is it just muggy as all get out? But today, it's a little bit less, so I took a walk down the street and around like a little park. Baby steps, get back in, okay? But yeah, don't forgive yourself the detour. K-pop drama, self-blaming has been struggling with not dealing with myself earlier, but life got in the way too. You guys, I could say, and it's totally true, I will share this with you personally, clutter-wise and otherwise, I wish I had gotten my shit together earlier in my life because I would have more decades ahead of me of living a good life. And I mean a good life, a life that fills my soul. However, what I choose to believe is now is the perfect time for me to do this because I appreciate now so much more the wonderful life I have because I have had the not so great experiences. I appreciate that my house is decluttered because I know there were times when it was totally filled with clutter. Oh my God, you guys, I got to share. I will at some point. Maybe I'll do that with the Zoom call for the people on the mailing list. I discovered photos of a garage sale that I had in this house when we moved in. It was about maybe, 10, 15 years ago, something like that. There's a date stamp on them. Holy Moses, if you ever thought somebody had a lot of stuff in their house, I moved in here with pretty much like a vintage store's worth of stuff in my own house. And how did I get rid of it? Incrementally, in a way that felt good to me. And I celebrated everything. I wish I had gotten started, but I can't change the past. And I want to share this with you. You cannot technically change the past, but the past only exists in your mind. So you can change your memories of the past. You can change how you look at what happened in the past and feel differently about it. And that is kind of changing the past. So notice these things. Now, self-blame just keeps you stuck. Forgiveness gets you going, okay? It makes you feel better, all right? Now, Sin from Lynn, nice to see you. I keep on wanting to say the rhyme, but you know it and I know it. And isn't Fluff, Marshmallow Fluff was from Lynn, right? I have the little yummy book, the little booklet of recipes. Asking for a friend. How to get rid of items that cost a lot. I love this. Okay, love it. You have to get comfortable in your nervous system. In order to not feel bad about giving away something, you have to come to be at peace. You come to terms with the fact that you spent money on an item and it didn't work out. It happened in the past. It might even happen to you today, and it is going to happen in the future. It's part of being a human, okay? And this is what I would say to you or a friend, okay, is learn from the experience. You didn't buy, maybe you can say, I didn't spend the money on what's something I have purchased that I regretted purchasing because it's a lot of money. Oh, I always think of, this immediately comes to mind. And it wasn't even this rug in this room. The first time I moved into this room for my little office, I bought a rug. And I knew the size I wanted, yada, yada. And the guy was like, oh, if you're putting that over hardwood floors, you need to get a rug mat. And I was like, I think I'll be okay. No, you need to get a rug mat, like a little thing. And I was like, okay, it cost me like $300. I come home, I get it. My husband and I are putting it down. We put the mat down and we realize it's pretty tall. And then we put the rug over it. I couldn't even open the door to the room. There was no way that the rug mat and the rug were going to exist on the same plane. And I was like, oh my God. And it was like, custom cut, no returns. I beat myself up about that. And luckily my husband was like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. You're not going to get in trouble for making a bad investment. Write it off. Let it go. And learn from it. So learn the next time that you, don't maybe need the rug mat, or you need a thinner one. What can you learn from the thing you want to get rid of that you spent money on? Because here's the thing, hanging on to it, think of it just even in the real, practical world. Hanging on to an item that you purchased does not give you the money back. No. Unless you sell it, and even if you sell it, you're getting a fraction of your price. So you could go that route. Selling it and letting it go, you can get some money, some nickels, or you can just let it go and take a tax write-off, or you can give it to somebody. But hanging on to, buying an item, hey, here's my money, here's an item, now I have the item. When you're like, shit, I don't want this item anymore, you don't get the money back. And what you do is you get yourself stuck with an item that you don't want. And notice that it's going to take some talking yourself through it. This is why I'm a decluttering life coach, is there are steps to this. And tuning in your internal car radio to the frequency of what's going on in the background of, you can't do that. That you paid a lot of money for that. That's still good stuff. There's still good stuff in there. Noticing whatever the stories are in your head that make you feel like you can't let go of it is the first step in realizing, wait a minute, again, just like the past, all of this shit just exists in your mind, man. Dude, you can change the story in your head to make yourself feel better. And when you feel better, you can make a better decision. You can more likely let go of the thing that's not serving you. These things take time. This is why, honestly, when I coach people, I do these TikTok lives, I have a mailing list, and I do one-on-one coaching. And I work for my clients, and the way that I have structured it, because it works, is I offer a 10-session package. And I do this for flexibility. Anything less than that doesn't give you the space and the comfort and the way to kind of rejigger how you're thinking. But it also gives you the flexibility to then say, hey, I got to a certain point at this 10, I want to do more. And we say, great, another 10, another 10. I have clients that are on their first, their second, their third, their fourth. I have a client who's even had their fifth 10-session package with me. Because each time you do this, you're practicing being a new person. And this stuff takes time, especially if you're of an age. If you're a Gen Xer like me or older, you have decades worth of thoughts going through your head, kind of like a wheel in a road, creating a groove, a rut, as it were, that are saying the same things over and over again. If you want to get out of that rut and on a different road, it takes practice, So I hope that helps. Okay, Sin and your friend, I hope that helps. So K-pop drama love. I threw away a childhood framed picture. It was damaged in storage. I was surprised I was emotional. Yeah, don't be surprised that you're feeling emotional. You can feel emotional about the weirdest things. And I don't mean weird, that's not a judgment. You can feel sentimental about the in the most unusual of places. Okay? What I will share with you is that I often think of clutter. Again, I try to be practical on these TikTok lives, not just get all into the coaching. Surface clutter, stored clutter, sentimental. So to me, one of the things that's surface and stored tends to be paperwork. Now, when I think of paperwork, I think of things that come in the mail or you print them off of your computer. Stuff like, telephone bills and credit card statements and receipts and things stuff like that there. Okay? I was on a call with a client this week and we were talking about paperwork. And I know she won't mind me telling the story, but she got choked up when she was talking about credit card statements and a receipt. Because her partner recently passed, and as my client is going through her partner's paperwork, she's seeing evidence of Look at this credit card statement, shows all the times we went out to dinner. That's the time we stayed at that hotel. That's where we went for cocktails. That's when we bought tickets to the show. Do not be surprised when your human nervous system and body gets activated and says, hey, I'm human, I'm feeling things. Robots don't feel things, people. Zombies don't feel things. We are not robots. We are not zombies. We are humans. Of flesh and blood I'm made. I'm only human. Human League, anybody? Be cool with that. Learn to be cool with feeling feelings. Notice that you're feeling a feeling. What is this? There was somebody recently, and it was this, is this a good feeling? Is this a helpful feeling, an unhelpful feeling, or a neutral feeling? You know, is this a green light feeling, a red light feeling? Whatever. Notice where you feel your feelings. I tend to feel mine in my heart, in my torso. Sometimes in my head, but I don't feel them in my toes or in my nose. I feel my feelings here in my feeling section. And when I feel feelings, I try to notice them and breathe through them and be present with them and allow them to kind of pass almost like a rainstorm. Here's a fun thing too. Because I also like to use metaphors, and I tend to be not silly, but I like to put some fun in it. And Sandra Marie, thank you. I saw your comment about loving my bookcase behind me. So organized. Yeah, I'm good at this stuff, people. Come on. Why do you think I coach and get paid for it? I kid, but it's true. So remember when I just said sitting there and just being present with the feelings and allowing them to kind of pass over you? Now, many times in previous TikTok lives and when I coach, I will often equate that to being on a road trip, because I do everything road trip wise. And I imagine myself on one of the roads. I'm looking at my map. And when I was doing my Route 66 road trip, so I was going from Chicago to LA, and I want to say it was like through New Mexico, even Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain, and through New Mexico. A lot of just long, straight, flat places so you can see ahead. Sometimes there's a storm ahead and you're like, oh my gosh, in order to continue going, I'm going to need to drive through that storm. Don't stop and veer sideways. You will never get to where you want to go if you notice the storm is coming and you decide to pivot and avoid it. What you'll do is, now what you've done is you've kind of created, like Marcel Marceau, you've created the outer walls of your comfort zone. When you go through the storm and you just allow yourself to say, this storm is finite, it begins here and it ends here, and I'm going to just go through it. It's not going to be the best, but I'm going to feel it. You're going to get out of it sooner than you think. And then, oh my goodness, so many other things are on the other side of that. HMC23, I'm glad I have my singing people with me, huh? I love it. But notice that if you try to avoid feeling the feelings, you're just delaying it till somewhere else. And it's better to just feel it in the moment. I feel the feels. I've always been a sensitive child. But I also had to tamper it down. And yet it springs up in other times. You know? So notice that. And you know what? Paul, you're right. You are totally right. And I just blocked you. So, decluttering reminds you that you have power in your life, okay? You have control. You may not be using it now. You don't realize it. You may have forgotten. Somebody may have convinced you you can't do anything. I am here to wake up you and your power and remind you to brush off the key, to put the key in the ignition, to spark something that's going to get you going, okay? And you do have the power. I've got the power. You can change your world. And when you change your world and you realize you can do it, you can help other people do it themselves. I am living, breathing proof of that. That's why I decided to become a coach. Did I need to become a coach? No. Did I want to? Yeah. Because it feels so good. Cue the Chuck Mangione. It feels so good to be on the other side of so much crap that I used to tell myself. So much crap that I used to surround myself with. So many crappy words that I heard and believed. Okay? And no. Just noticing these things and knowing you have the power to make a decision, you know? And Nicole, if you're interested in finding info on coaching sessions, my website, destinationdecluttered.com. There's all the info there, and if not, you can get in touch with me. I'm happy to answer any questions. Coaching starts with a consultation, so that's all that is too, is if you've got questions, sign up for a consultation. Okay? But what I want to offer is you have a wonderful spark inside you that only goes out completely when you die. Now, the flame may be low right now, like barely on, but you know what? Let's give it some oxygen. Let's you know what's gonna light that fire in you. It doesn't have to be a blazing of things. It could be just a little steady, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Keeping that in your heart is gonna keep you moving forward. Okay? And moving forward, and this is where the destination part always comes in. Not just moving randomly ahead, but moving strategically forward to a destination that you want to get to. The world that you want to live in, the house that you want to live in, the home that you live in right now is basically your world. I know this for first-hand experience because I've barely left my house in the last few days because I'm fucking sick. But your home is your world. The thought of a clean, uncluttered home to be proud of again. Yeah, and even better than this, Julie Rose, I'm always going to amp up people's things because I want you to think of being proud of yourself for creating the home that you want. Does this mean doing it all by yourself? No. Get help. Get as much help as you need, but the decision making and the creative director is you. The person who's saying yes to this and no to that is you. The person who says, I want these things to go and these things to stay, and I don't want those things coming in, but this can go. The traffic cop in your life is you. Okay? To be proud of again. And what is proud? How does proud feel? Notice when we're proud, we're not like this. We're not like this. You're like this. I'm proud. I'm going to get up. I'm going to get emotional, and I never know where it comes up, but I honor it. Those freaking rugby playing women in the Olympics, how proud are we of them? How proud are we of that awesome, geeky kid from Worcester who does the pommel horse, who focused on what he was doing? Simone Biles, talk about pride and being proud of your accomplishments because you worked hard at this, and being proud of yourself. There's never too late. Yeah, it's too late for me. I never wanted to do the Olympics, but it is never, ever, ever too late to start feeling good about yourself, to congratulate yourself on what you've done, to learn from your mistakes. Think of these Olympic athletes. You've seen them screw up. They've learned, they've changed, they've practiced, they've gotten a coach. Now, this is not going to turn into some sleazy sales thing about a coach, but notice they got help with what they weren't good at, and they practiced. And they showed up, and they practiced, and they showed up, and they practiced, and they showed up. And do all of us need to be at Olympic level? Nah. Do you want to? Sure. If you want to, go for it. I'm cool with just being my regular old self. I don't know if I want to be a quadrillionaire. That seems like a lot of work. But am I happy with where I am and where I'm headed? Feeling good about it? Hell yeah. Yeah, Bobby Dugas, Olympics, loving a lot of Massachusetts. Go Mass. The kid from Stoughton. My sister's in Stoughton. Kid from Stoughton, I don't know his name, but he's on the, what do you call that thing? The gymnastics thing. I mean, pride. There's nothing wrong with that. It isn't a deadly sin. There's a lot worse sins than that, Catholic Church, I'm telling you. Feeling good about yourself. Saying, hey, you know what? Not boastful. But in a check me out. Look what I did. I'm feeling pretty good about myself. That's what you will feel when you begin to declutter your house. Because you will see and feel the difference in your home. You will see the fruits of your labors. Now, this, I think, is honestly one of the reasons I decided to, very early on, put my life kind of general, vague life coaching abilities into the funnel of clutter, is I like to see a before and after. It's harder to visualize and quantify change on the inside. But you will know when your house is getting cleaner and more organized and it's functioning well and it's easier to live in and you will feel differently, you will know that change has occurred. this is why I love to do this type of thing. And a lot of it is just freaking practical stuff that you can also teach other people. Surface clutter, stored clutter, sentimental clutter, making decisions, deciding what you want, deciding what you don't want, deciding that when you don't want it, this is where it goes, deciding before you even buy something if you really need it or not, or want it, and allowing yourself to bring in what you love, and allowing yourself to say no to the overconsumption, capitalistic clothing haul, disposable clothing type thing. Okay? Now, I feel like I'm on a soapbox. I'm going to step down from a soapbox. I'm going to take a sip of tea. But just notice that you are worthy of feeling good about yourself before you die. And let's do it way before you die, okay? My birthday's coming up next week, and tomorrow's the beginning of a new month. So I am very aware of kind of date timelines and new chapters and all this. I'm going to probably do, if I have enough voice by the end of this, I'll probably record a TikTok video about this. And speaking of voice, let me get some tea in me. What I also want to offer too is guilty. Guilty is another thing. Okay, we overconsume. Miss Nisi? So guilty. Guilt is another unhelpful feeling. Unhelpful feeling. Let it go. Guilt, I absolve you of the guilt. Look at me, I'm the freaking Pope. Don't feel guilt. Understand that you did something to make yourself feel better. I overconsumed on clothing because I thought it would make me feel good. Look at me, I have money. I can spend my money. Or you know what? Screw that. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to make myself feel good because I look good. I'm going to buy those clothes. I deserve new clothes because I didn't have any when I was a little kid. You know what? I am going to have that second piece of bacon because, boy, did that first one taste good. And nobody can tell me that I can't eat the bacon. You know what? I'm having fun. I am going to order another Negroni. Those are all examples from my own life. You fill in your blanks, you know? Okay, yeah, and thank you, German Maid, for saying HMT23. I so wish I could record these lives to play back later. Your wish is granted. It is. Long live Jambi. Because all of my TikTok lives are up on YouTube. Now, if you're on my mailing list, you have been able to have access to the ones that have been through the entirety of July before just the general, regular public. I treat the people closest to me the best. As you get further away, you get a different layer of treatment. So if you want to get the access, and starting tomorrow, which will be August, the August ones will be behind closed doors, just for the people on the mailing list until September. Lather, rinse, repeat. See what I'm doing there? They're up there if you want to listen to them. Take a note of today's, and if you want to record this one, take a note that today is Wednesday, July 31st. I'm going to be here for another 22 minutes, okay? And if you want to get on the mailing list, I should probably tell you how to do that. Pretty easy. I like to keep things easy. DestinationDecluttered.com. That's my website. Go there, scroll to the bottom of the front page, and there's a little form. Join the, get a good jump start. I don't know, it says some words. Basically, there's a form that says, put your email here and prove that you're not a robot, because I don't coach robots. And then sign up, and then you'll get an informational email. You'll know how to get access to the recorded TikTok lives just for the people on the mailing list. You'll also know that I do a group Zoom every month. So you'll know the date and time of that and how to access it. Also, this next 6 weeks or so, I'm going to be kind of busy with travel. And right now, my head is so full of cotton and sickness that I can't even think straight. But please know, and I mean this in sincerity, I will be doing some fun kind of workshops, some parties. We did a paper party about a few weeks ago, about all sitting down on Zoom at the same time and saying, okay, I'm at my house, I'm going to go through my paperwork, you're at your house, okay. I'm setting my timer, 15, 20 minutes, okay, then we check back in. And then we check back in, and it gives you that little group effort, we're not alone here, oomph, little push to get yourself done. All of those things happen with my people on my mailing list. And the people who are my clients get even more, So just know that there's those kind of concentric circles, all right? So where was I? I'm like a jazz musician, people, okay? Done. Thank you. Awesome, hon. See? Taken care of. Yeah. Need weekly paper parties. Cool music playlist too. You know what's interesting, Tenacious J? I am Tenacious Being. Nice to meet you. I have started actually. I have my Trello board across here, which is another thing. I'll probably do like a little thing. I'm gonna start to charge. I will say this. For my paying clients, it'll be free. For the people on the mailing list, it's going to be a certain modest like cover charge, $10 or so for like a 90-minute thing. It's a bargain. But that's another way to get you to show up for these things. But weekly paper parties, sure, if you're interested, we could do that. I will look at my schedule. The other thing too is I do have a cool music playlist that I've been writing down songs, and I'll share that again. Everybody for my things get first. So I like to have fun. I like to have fun and get stuff done. This isn't just a party for party's sake. I am here on a mission. Okay? This is why it's so funny. When I do coaching with people, I will share that we will get into some really good stuff, and we'll be like, oh man, yeah, that's why I hang on to that stuff. Wow. I never thought of it that way. And then we kind of hang out in the insight. And then we learn from it. And then it's like, okay, let's capture that lightning in a bottle and say, okay, what are you going to do with that insight? Don't just let it, like, how are you going to turn that into action? Okay? How are you going to use your knowledge of yourself in the inside to transform your life on the outside and in the future? You know? What made me decide to declutter? Cool music during the paper party, that could be a you do you thing, Tenacious J. I'll just answer that one really quickly. I really like silence. I need to, as my mother would say, and so this is where I know that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree as far as just ways of being wired or learning or whatever, I need to hear myself think. So music may help you get in the zone if you're not making decisions, but if you need to make decisions, you could put on your own music in the background. That's a wonderful thing. You do you, okay? So, and thank you, Jennifer Low Foam, sorry, excuse me, can't pronounce your name. Thank you for helping, saying you like to watch me. I like to show up here too, because I want to be of service. This to me is my gift to the world. Here, look, I have a gift for you. And it isn't something that takes up room or you got to dust it or you feel bad about. I have the gift of giving you the awareness that you can change something you don't like in your life. And you can practice that by changing the clutter in your home. Now, what made me decide to get declutter? You know, I was kind of sick of how things were. It was fun to collect stuff up for a while. Do not get me wrong. I enjoyed. There was decades of my life where I acquired stuff. I collected things. I went out collecting. I went thrifting. I went auctions. I went all this stuff, shopping. That was fun. I always like to say this was fun until it wasn't. Because every time you buy something, you're building up the amount of stuff that's building up in your house, unless you're also trying to find a way to get it out of your house. So for a while there, I did do that. I did start, as many people do. Well, I'm going to sell this stuff. So I sold stuff on eBay. I sold stuff on Etsy. Did I sell stuff on Etsy? No, I probably just bought stuff on Etsy. I also sold stuff. I had a space for a number of years where I sold vintage and mid-century things. The quantity of items, instead of feeling cool and whatever, it started to feel overwhelming. It was hard to find items. It was hard to do a lot of stuff because I had to dig through the stuff I had to find the stuff I wanted. It started to feel uncomfortable. I started to stress out when people wanted to come over and we hadn't been prepared, and so the house was a mess. It was a lot of little things that added up to, you know what? I got to make a change. I got to do something different. And I wanted to be strategic about it. And one of the things is, I will say, this room that I'm in right now did not look like this all the time. I've shown pictures of this to people on the monthly Zooms. But I said, you know what? I don't want it to be like this, but what do I want it to be like? And I decided, because at the time, and it's still true, I really had a crush on Palm Springs, California. So many things I liked about it. But I got curious. What was it? The aesthetic, the temperature, the architecture, the colors, the people I met, the food I ate there, all those things. And so I said to myself, oh, you know what? I would like my home to be more like Palm Springs. So then I said, okay, what is that like? What fits in and what doesn't? What did I used to like, but I don't like anymore? What have I changed into? I allowed myself the opportunity to hear what I wanted and respond. to not keep the stuff in my house that other people said I should keep, or I thought I should keep because I was going to get in trouble if I gave it away, I started listening to myself. Yeah. And not being afraid that if I did that, I was going to get in trouble. Because boy, did I start my life listening to other people and try to be what they wanted. That crashed and burned. But so glad it did, because like the phoenix rising from the ashes, when I started paying attention to what I wanted, and no matter what anybody said, I started going for it. And trust me, in baby steps. I am like the baby stepser of the baby steps. I wasn't boldly going where no man went before. I was creeping along, one fraidy cat step at a time, but I was moving forward to what I wanted. And sure, there were parts where I was like, oh my God, am I really doing that? And the answer was, yes, I am. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I did it, and I was like, oh, I did it. Oh, the world didn't implode. Oh, actually, this is kind of fun. Through that, on the other side of that, is some awesome stuff, you guys. It really is. And that's life, that's clutter, it's all kind of in the mix. So I show up to teach you what I have learned on my journey. I'm here and I'm looking back and being like, you guys, I know the way. And boy, did I took the long way. I took a circuitous route. I know now the shortcuts. I know now what things to avoid and to notice when you're getting off track and to lovingly steer you back onto the road and to trust yourself what path is right for you. But I can't and I don't force anybody into coaching. I cannot force anybody to declutter. You have to want it. But man, when you want it, the universe shows up and says, okay, I have somebody who can probably help you with this. You know? And one of the reasons, frankly, I'll be completely sincere about this and transparent. One of the reasons I show up and do these TikTok lives is to help you, sincerely help you to get decluttered just from what you answer. You ask me a question here on TikTok Live, I will answer a decluttering question. I will coach you right here. However, I know that that's just a sliver of coaching that you can get. But what you're also getting is noticing how I look, how I talk, how I show up, the jokes I make, the potty mouth, the references. If it feels like it would be fun to work with me, I want you to consider working with me. If I'm not your cup of tea, as it were, that's fine. There's like a trillion other people on the planet who might be able to help you. This is like, I want us to be a good fit. And so me showing up and being my sweaty, self, because I'm struggling with COVID. I'm struggling. I'm dealing with COVID. But I show up to show you that it is possible to live a life you love. And if that seems too big of a, oh yeah, right, whatever, how about just in a house that feels different? How long is a session? It's an hour. So let me explain to you, Sin from Lynn. So this is how I coach, really simply, is I sell a 10-session package. At the beginning, that is an hour a week, once a week for 10 weeks in a row, give or take, stuff that's happening, okay? It's a certain day at a certain time. I'm looking at my schedule right now. So you get in the habit of showing up, kind of like for a class, and it's an hour on Zoom, just you and me, nobody else. During that hour on Zoom, what we do is we kind of, roll up our sleeves and be like, okay, and this is where I love to talk about the road trip metaphor, is we say, okay, here's where you are, and I ask you, where do you want to be? What are we aiming for? What are the places in your home that's going to make a big difference to you that you declutter? And I listen to you. And then we create a plan. And it's not an overwhelming, like an itinerary. It's like a week-by-week plan. We start out modestly so you don't feel overwhelmed by the enormity of it, and you start with baby steps. And then we make a plan, but in between our sessions is when you drive. When you drive towards that destination, you go from, let's see, you're in Lynn, and let's say the first time you're going to go from Lynn to Worcester, and then from Worcester to Springfield, and then Springfield to Albany, and then, I don't know, anything outside of New England. And then the next week you show up and we celebrate your wins. Where'd you go? What'd you do? Awesome. What were the roadblocks? Oh, let's get curious. Let's get into what stopped you when you thought, oh, all I need to do is. And we patiently, at a pace that works for you, uncover what's jamming you up. And sometimes this is rarely, I will share this with you. depending upon how old you are and how much clutter you have and how many ingrained habits you have, and frankly, even people who sign up for coaching can be initially resistant to the coaching because it means you're doing something different, you're thinking something different, you're paying money. All of these things, getting yourself comfortable with it, that 10 sessions has occasionally been enough for, somebody who's younger, who doesn't have a lot of clutter, whatever. Other times you sign up for another 10 and then another 10, whatever feels right to you. That's why I give that flexibility. Excuse me. Yeah. And basically how the coaching starts, I guess, would be if you think you want me to be your coach and you sign up for a consultation. Now, I will be honest with you, in all sincerity, you guys. I thought today was going to be the day that I added some more consultation slots to my calendar. Not for next week. We are traveling next week. But for the week after that. I got to share with you. I am still, yes, I am being affected by the COVID because I sent an email today that took me a long time to compose. And it kept on bouncing back at me because I kept on getting the email address wrong. So my brain is not detail-oriented enough. I'm trusting myself to not put those things on the calendar just yet, but there will be some. And the best place to be, besides as a one-on-one client, is going to be on the mailing list. So get on the mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com, scroll down, add your email list, add your email, boom, it's done. And I always keep my people informed. So before I leave for California on Sunday, I'm going to send out an email. I'll be like, you guys, I got this going on. We got this happening, this happening. Long before anybody here on TikTok, or even if you like my page on TikTok, like liking my page on TikTok is kind of cool. I like to see the numbers go up. But I really want to meet you where you're at, okay? So that was kind of a long-winded thing, but I just felt it was important to get into. And also, since I don't see a lot of questions here, I just want to mention that. Here's a fun thing. Today is the end of a month. Tomorrow is the beginning of a new month. We as humans even just devised the concept of months and days and years and timekeeping. You can choose at any time, and this is like a precursor. I'm kind of riffing, kind of practicing what I might do on this TikTok video that I might do. I just want to plant the seed with you. You can decide at any point in time to start a new chapter in your life. You can end one chapter, and then you can begin another one. And before beginning your new chapter, notice what you want, what you're aiming for. Be strategic about these things. The things that you do, the things that you spend your money on, the things that you spend your energy on, the things that you spend your time on, what are they going to get you? Are they going to get you more of the same? I spent a lot of time doing that. I got hired for a job that I didn't want to begin with, and I stayed there for 11 freaking years. And I thought basically it was because I wanted my dad to be proud of me. But I stayed in that job 6 years after he had passed away, still afraid to do what I wanted. But I share this with you because it can be a random day. It can be the end of a month and the beginning of a new month. I am actually going to today, one of the things I am going to do is I'm going to sit down with my books. So I don't sell you any kind of, like, buy my patented Destination Decluttered workbook. I might do that at some point because I found one that I like that has a good design, but I'm not going to rip you off. I have kept a journal for the past 4 years. This is a 2-year version of it. This began in 2022. What day did I start this? Look at me. Welcome to my awesome life, 2022 plus. Friday, February 4th of 2022, I started this. No, it was back on, it was on February 1st. Okay. Now it's about to end because I'm running out of pages. And each one of these ones at the end are going to be COVID, 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 COVID. I bought a new book. I bought this book last year. And I bought this in Barcelona because I loved this brand. I wanted this color because I have another one like it. And I knew I was waiting to start this one. But before I start my new one, I'm going to reflect. I'm going to look back and I'm going to be freaking proud of everything that I did in this book. They're tiny baby steps, all these baby steps. But man, in 2 years, what a difference. I encourage you to get a book, a journal, a nice keeper book. What is it? The Book of Positive Attributes. I call it all sorts of things. Oh, my travel journal. Because you're like, here's where I want to go and here's how I got there. I call it my good book. I'm going to, put it in the good book. You know, my ta-das, my wins, my brag book, my book of positive attributes, my appreciation journal. You can call it George for whatever I care. But what I want you to do, if you want, is start to pay attention to the good stuff you have and the good stuff you do. Okay? Write that shit down. But also have another book next to you of the stuff you want to do. Your workbook, the stuff you want to happen. Because that's important too, is your wish list and turning your wish list and saying, this is what I want out of my life and how do I get there? These 2 books, I hang out with them all the time. They have changed my life. And this one, I mean, I didn't have to go to Barcelona to get it. I just found it in a really cool stationery store. This I get for like 50 cents at Staples. The tools are almost irrelevant. It's sitting down and using them and practicing over and over and over again. Okay? Tenacious J had a similar experience of mistaking due to condition an email addressed to a doctor. Yeah. Similarly, a new rheumatologist was so nice to my face, then went, oh, geez, I need a vacation. Oh, geez, yeah. Paying attention to other people. Whew. Rainbow Butterfly is asking, how to get motivated to declutter before moving. This is what I think is so cool about moving, you guys. Rainbow Butterfly, you are moving into your Barbie dream home. You have a wonderful kind of external excuse, reason to jettison the stuff that's dragging you down and only decorate your Barbie dream house with the pieces, the little cool little stuff that really makes you love it. Even if it worked in your house right now, if you're moving to a new place, start to envision that new place with only the stuff you love in it. Now, I will say there may be a point where you need to temporarily have, the couch or stuff, but I'm talking about the little stuff. There's so much little stuff that you probably have too much of that this is a perfect reason to so I'm saying this as a spark in your heart. What's going to ignite the spark to say, oh man, you know what I really want our new house to look like? I want it to be different. I don't want it to be cluttered. So while I'm packing, I'm going to pack stuff for the house and I'm going to pack stuff to give away. I am also going to realize, and please note this, Rainbow Butterfly, that most likely when you move into your house, you will have too much for it because you're going to overestimate what you need. And the nervous system, you can only work at the pace of your body. Your nervous system can only do so much. So you will make enough decisions, but then at a certain point, you may not have enough time to make all those decisions where you feel good. So you may need to pack up some stuff and move it into your new house. That is totally to be expected. Okay? And what I want to offer to you is, it's okay. Do the best you can, but while you have the opportunity, anything that does not ping you in your heart, like a green light, notice it. Anything that's a red light that you don't want, this perfect opportunity to let it go. The yellow, you could even be like the box of stuff I'm not sure about. And then notice how long it takes you to open up that box to actually use something in it. Okay? Oops, sorry, I missed something here. All right. You know what? Here's the funny thing. Yes, totally decluttering people you don't want in your life. Tenacious J. Yeah, how to respond unkindly. I just say to myself, noted. And then I say, career moves made daily. I ain't got time for people who don't have time for me. No, you know what? You made a choice and trust in your gut that if you don't want to be hanging out with a person, you don't. You go find somebody else. There are so many other people in the world. Notice how other people act and that there is a cause and response. Okay? So, yeah, trust your gut on that one. Yeah, as you said, do you declutter rude providers? Sure. I have a wonderful, this is why I am so intentional about who I hang out with, about socially, professionally, like all those things, because I don't want to hang out with people that bring me down. And I don't mean like everybody's yippee skippy, but like there are people there who are just going to drain your energy. You can try to fill them up as much as you want, and you can just love on them, but you don't need to be near them. Also, there are some creepy people out there. To this day, I had a creepy experience with it, or just a mean experience. I had a creepy experience with a doctor once. I really, to this day, I'm pretty sure I said something at the time, But I still feel like to this day I should have done more. So trust your gut. And this is what this is all about, Charlie Brown. And pardon me, I'm trying to get to the last few messages. There we go. Susan Porter's moving 12-1. Awesome. Can't wait to be in a new space, and already starting to work on getting rid of so much. Yeah. Okay. Miss Nisi, my problem is I have about 30 yellow boxes of stuff I'm not sure about. Being not sure about it is a decision. Yeah. Notice how long it's going to take you to open it up. If you need something in there, you'll go into it. But if you don't need it, in an X amount, put a date on it. Yellow stuff I'm not sure about, 7/31/2024. Notice if you use that stuff in 6 months, in a year, whatever. If you haven't used it in a year, it means you're living your life without it, and it's okay. All right? So just notice these things, people. Trust your gut. The fact that you're not opening those boxes is a really important indicator as to how those things are important. Now, this may be a little bit different. I will share this with you before I sign off. It may be slightly different if the stuff is sentimental. However, it's the same concept. All right? There we go. Crystal Marie is saying, I've been going through boxes that have moved with me and found mail from 2005. You know what? I love that you're finding it and changing your mail habits now so it doesn't happen again. Okay? Yeah, you know what? I don't know when I'm moving. Dana, pretend you're moving. Pretend you're moving. That's what I did. I pretended we were moving to Palm Springs. It helped me clarify what I wanted and what I didn't. Yeah, and move at the time. Move forward at the pace that feels good to you. Now, speaking of a pace that feels good to you, I'm signing off right now because I've hit my 1 hour mark. I am proud of myself for what I did. I showed up and did my TikTok live even though I have the COVID. I'm proud of all the stuff that I did today, and I'm going to honor the fact that I'm moving at a certain pace today. You know what? I will show up. I'm doing a TikTok live tomorrow. I got to check my calendar there. Yep. And the people on the mailing list know what time it's going to be because they know how to access the schedule. If you want to access the schedule, seriously, get on the mailing list. DestinationDecluttered.com. Join. You got it. All right? I will feel better. Thank you all for your good wishes. I can feel them. I'm feeling better already. And I send not germs, but just good wishes out to you guys. You can change the stuff in your home that bugs you. And if you need help, I can help you. Bye. I'm like hitting the right button. I'm hitting the right button.